Today is Wednesday, August 7th, 2024. But I'm going back to watch some of the episodes of The View that I missed while I was away. And um, the interview they did with Chris Sununu was just disturbing. Um, he comes on there with a smile, and this was Amy Farrah Griffin's like, I wish he were running for president. I love Chris Sununu. He's so great, doing great things in New Hampshire. And he was a Nikki Haley stan, and now all of a sudden has gone on all in for Trump. And there's the whole thing about party loyalty, and I know I've been talking about we need as Democrats just to get the fuck in line and get Kamala elected. But when you're talking about the leader of your party, is who is an existential threat to democracy, that is so wildly maligned and mistrusted and hated by a large portion of the country, and has such a stranglehold on the party that no other really candidates can get anywhere, unless you're a full on MAGA. I would think as a member of that party, who someone wants to see a sort of traditional Republican values and policies furthered, that you would want to kind of move away from Trumpism and the whole MAGA crowd. And one of the ways to do that would be to see him defeated again. He lost the last election. Um, his efforts in the midterms were actually a detriment. Um, there was no red wave. It wasn't even a trickle. And if he loses again, that might help loosen the stranglehold that he has on the party, that people might start realizing, he isn't covered in gold. And when he, when if he loses again, and the rest of these court cases can continue, and we can sort of fix the judicial process, he may not be available to run again. So I don't know why there's necessarily needs to be a fear of him right now. And I would think anyone with a backbone would continue to fight against Trump, which a lot of Republicans are doing. But Sununu comes on with a big smile, a big grin, and he's just like, "Yeah, well, I want to get back to small government." Okay, but that's not what's happening. That's not what your party's doing right now, Sununu. There's no reason for him to endorse Trump, or shy away from um, the Democratic ticket at the moment. And I know they're trying to paint this as the most progressive ticket ever, but really, the the things that are called progressive now are fairly centrist ideas and fairly popular around the country. So I get that they're still trying to demonize us, but I would think a forward-thinking and politician, and someone who wants to have a future in the Republican Party, would give up on the Trump train, um, because it can't last forever. The guy's old. I mean, he's not that old, but he's clearly in decline. Um, and if he keeps continuing to lose, the luster will be gone. I just it's kind of mind-boggling to me. But I found him so disingenuous and creepy, and just like he's smiley and friendly, and the ladies tried to go after him. Sonny was like, why is it that the polls are determining your moral compass? Um, which I thought was interesting. I would have liked to see them go a little harder on him than they did. Although they you know they did try, but he just kept getting, like folksy and not answering the question, and creepy, evasive, and um, I, he looked like a guy who's afraid of the schoolyard bully, you know. Um, and I missed part of the interview because they interrupted with the news. It was breaking news at the time that President Biden had secured the prisoner swap with Russia for several of our detainees over there, um, which was like a master class of foreign um, uh, diplomacy in getting all of those other countries to agree. Hey, we're going. if you can release your prisoners back to Russia, then we can get ours. With very little gain for themselves, other than as a sort of a favor to the United States. No country would do that for Trump. And Trump was bragging for so long about, oh, Putin's not going to release any of those prisoners, but to anybody but me. Well, you're an idiot and a liar and wrong because he did. Um, and then Trump went on stage to congratulate Putin on such a good deal that he got for prisoner swaps, and it really isn't. Um, that great of a deal for Putin. He did get the better end of the bargain when we traded for Brittany Griner. That we gave away a pretty remarkable criminal to get her back. But this one wasn't. It was much, I think, more favored the U.S. and the U.S. prisoners than it did favoring sort of the Russian um, you know elite army, and I, I don't think Putin got the better of the deal, but it was weird that he congratulated him. Good job, Vladdy. You got you got more criminals than we got detainees who weren't criminal. I don't know. Um, and it's weird that his like his followers are just all so patriotic. America first, America first, America first, but they allow him all of this love for the leader of Russia. I mean, of anybody, those are the people who had like not gotten over the Cold War and think that Russia was the enemy. They're so twistedly uh, brainwashed that I don't that they don't know which way is up anymore. And luckily, there's less and less of them. And the crazier he talks, the more he talks about Hannibal Lecter, the better it is for us. I will say one quick thing about something more recent. Um, the Philadelphia rally last night, which was Kamala Harris and the debut of Tim Walz as her VP, was fucking inspiring. It was wonderful. They both gave spectacular speeches. He threw in a couple of zingers that were really fucking on point. Um, the one that gets repeated the most and was the funniest was talking about debating JD Vance and said, of course, if you'll get off the couch and come and do it. I don't think he said come. I think he said if he'll get off the couch and show up, I think. But anyway, I think that the next 90 days is just going to be that much more fun. But shame on you, Sununu.